Hare Krishna. So today is the second day of our seminar. So yesterday we discussed about Krishna went to Mathura, killed Kamsa, made Ugrasen the king, and when Ugrasen actually requested Krishna to become the king, Krishna explained why he couldn't become a king. Because there was a curse from Jajati, one of their ancestors, that the Jadu line means the line of one of the sons of Jajati, the eldest son of Jajati, Jadu. His line was cursed. Jadu was cursed that his line would not become the kings. That's why Krishna didn't become the king. Of course, Krishna is the king of kings. So then Vasudev, Krishna's father and mother, they arranged for Krishna's Upanayan. Upanayan ceremony is the ceremony for initiation. Second birth takes place through this Upanayan. Through this process, Upanayan means bringing close to the personality, bringing to the Guru. The one approaches the Guru and is accepted by the Guru, by the spiritual master. And Vasudev considered that my son is a Kshatriya, but he was brought up in Vrindavan, and his Upanayan didn't take place. Usually Upanayan takes place at the age of 7 or 8. Now he's already 15 and he didn't, so he said, let's arrange their Upanayan, Krishna and Balaram's. And then Krishna and Balaram decided to go to, or rather you can say decided to come here, to Avanti, to the ashram of Sandipani Muni to study. Sandipani Muni was in Benares before. Sandipani Muni was actually a devotee of Lord Shiva. The question here arises why Krishna selected a devotee of Lord Shiva to become his guru. The reason has been given is that because if it was a devotee of Krishna, he would never accept Krishna to become his disciple. So, and Sandipani Muni was in Benares, which is a place of Lord Shiva, and Sandipani Muni was actually born as in a way, kind of empowered incarnation. He was the son of Purnamasi. Purnamasi is Yogamaya, is Yogamaya's son, and Brahmanadev, the father. And then they left Varanasi, Kashi. Sandipani Muni came with his wife and one son here to Ujjain. And actually the original name of this place is Avanti. In the scriptures, this place has been identified as Avanti Nagari. Avanti. And this place is famous for various reasons. In Krishna's pastimes. One is, this is the place of Sandipani Muni's ashram, and also this is the place where one of Krishna's principal wives, Mitrabinda, was born. She was the daughter of the king here. She was the princess of the king of Avanti. And yeah, Krishna came here to marry her also. So anyway, right after that right after the Upanayan, Krishna decided to come to the house and the ashram of Sandipani Muni. Oh yeah, as I was saying, Sandipani Muni came to Avanti, which is also a place of Lord Shiva. It is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas. Lord Shiva has 12 Jyotirlingas manifest in the universe, and this is one of the Jyotirlingas, Mahakaleshwar. And Sandipani Muni's mother, Purnamasi, went to Vrindavan. She decided to retire in Vrindavan. She considered, well, I've become old, so I'll go to Vrindavan. But the actual purpose, as we know, was she knew that Krishna is going to come to Vrindavan, and she wanted to be a part of Krishna's pastimes, because she is Yogamaya. And Sandipani Muni sent his son, one of his sons and daughter, also with her to take care of her. And this son is Madhumangal, and daughter is Nandimukhi. Madhumangal was a friend of Krishna, and Nandimukhi was a friend of Radharani. So, Krishna decided to come to Sandipani Muni's ashram, and he came. Actually, initially, Devaki was reluctant to let him go. He said, no, I just got you back, and after so many years of separation, I got you back, and now you want to go away to your guru's ashram. Again, we won't be able to see you. So Krishna assured, look, I need to study, otherwise I will be illiterate. So it is customary that I go to the Guru's ashram and properly study different subjects. So with that pretext, Krishna came to Sandipani Muni's ashram, and Krishna studied here for 64 days. He stayed here for 64 days. And in those 64 days, Krishna actually mastered 64 arts. Every single subject was studied, and he mastered them. Seeing his brilliance, seeing their brilliance, Sandipani Muni was awestruck. He said, I never seen anyone such memory, such scholarship. So Sandipani Muni decided to find out who these persons are, who these two boys are. And in his meditation, he searched for him all over the places. And where did he finally find them? He found them in Vaikuntha. And he found that these are the two expansions. I mean, that's how he saw it. Narayan's expansions. So in a way that is true also, because Krishna Balaram can be also seen as Jugavatar and expansions of Narayan. But originally, Krishna and Balaram, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an expansion of Narayan, but Narayan is an expansion of him. And anyway, so that is how Sandipani Muni got to know who Krishna and Balaram were. So then they completed their studies, and they were about to leave. So Krishna proposed that I have studied, so the study will not be complete unless I give you dakshina. And so what can I give you as dakshina? So Sandipani Muni's response was that my greatest achievement was to get you as my students. And by getting you as my students, I've achieved everything. And I don't really need anything. But anyway, let me go and ask my wife if she wants something from you as dakshina. So when Sandipani Muni went and told his wife was that these two boys are going to leave, she was completely heartbroken. She told him that, look, by getting these two boys, I forgot the agony of losing my son. It was ঠিক আছে, বারবার ইয়ে করছে কেন? Just let it be. বারবার নাড়াচ্ছে কেন এটা? Just sit down. Just set it up and sit down. ঠিকই তো ছিল, কি দরকার ছিল নাড়াবার এগুলো? Hare Krishna. Yeah, now you go and sit down there. You don't have to fiddle around there. Just sit down. So she was, actually Sandipani Muni had a son. When the boy was 16 years old, he got drowned in the ocean. And naturally, the mother was very heartbroken. But she was telling that ever since these two boys came and started to reside here, and I started to treat them as my own son, because the spontaneous somebody is using the phone, he's saying. Is somebody's phone ringing? It's his phone ringing. So Sandipani, so she became very heartbroken. That no, I can't let these boys go. So Krishna pleaded that, look, my mother is waiting for me also. I've given her the assurance. And then she started to describe how her son died, and naturally how she was so heartbroken. And but ever since she got Krishna, she completely forgot about her lost son. And because her affection for Krishna became so overwhelming that even she forgot about her own son, lost son. Then Krishna said, okay, then I won't leave unless I bring your son back. So Krishna and Balaram then went to the ocean and called the ocean. And Krishna was very upset. Why did you take my Guru's son? Bring him back immediately. Ocean personified said, look, it's not me who actually stole your son. That's your guru's son. It is a demon called Panchajanya who actually stole him. So where is Panchajanya? He is deep down in Patala Loka, below the ocean. So Krishna went there and challenged Panchajanya and killed him. But there also he couldn't find. Panchajanya assumed the form of a huge conch shell and couldn't find the child. So then Krishna went to Jamaraja's abode. And in the meantime, killing that demon Panchajanya, Krishna made this Panchajanya as his conch shell. As you have seen in Bhagavad Gita, Panchajannam Rishikesha Devadatta Dhananjaya. That Krishna blew the conch shell, his conch shell called Panchajanya, and Dhananjaya blew his conch shell called Devadatta. And so Krishna went with the to Jamaraja's abode and he blew his conch shell. And it has been described, the effect of the sound of that conch shell, that all the sinful creatures in hell, Jamaraja's abode, became free from their sinful reactions. The sound of the conch shell was so auspicious that all the sinners became free from sinful reactions. Jamaraj, as you know, he is one of the Mahajans, as a great devotee. When he saw that Krishna came, he was so happy. So he came, fell at his feet, offered obeisances, greeted him, and asked him what he could do for him. So Krishna told that I came here to claim my guru's son. So Jamaraj saw called Chitragupta. Chitragupta is Jamaraj's secretary. He keeps all the notes. Like, mind you, his business is so extensive that he keeps the record, every single actions of every single individual. Now, a few years back, it may have sounded how is it possible? But now we are seeing some amazing things happening. Like, for example, when you go to America, even in Dubai and many countries, they ask you to look at the camera, and they ask you to put your fingerprint. So this is how they're keeping the record of everybody who is coming to the country. And those who are in the country, they have the record of everyone. How they're keeping it? In a computer. So if just ordinary human beings can maintain a computer and keep the records of every citizen, so why Chitragupta, the secretary of Jamaraj, cannot keep the karmic reactions in record for every single living entity? So that is what Chitragupta's business is. So Chitragupta was brought in, and they found that he has taken birth, that boy has taken birth somewhere else already, and he is already 12 years old. So Krishna said, okay, you have to bring him back. So that soul was brought back, and he was given the same form, in the form that he died. He got drowned in the ocean, and he was brought back to his parents. So this is how Krishna paid his Guru Dakshina to his Guru. like by bringing back their dead son. Then Krishna went back to Mathura, and then Krishna sent Uddhav. Uddhav is a friend of Krishna, his relative actually, Krishna's cousin. And Uddhav became very, very fond of Krishna. He was very attached to Krishna. And he became his constant companion. He was always with him. Before Krishna would wake up, he would come to Krishna's palace. And he would stay with Krishna throughout the day, and after Krishna would fall asleep, then only he would go home. He would eat only what is left over from Krishna's plate. He would dress with the dresses that Krishna has discarded. Of course, Krishna would wear it just for one day. So this is how fond, how attached Akrura was. And Akrura was extremely wise. He was the student of Brihaspati, the guru of the demigods. He studied under Brihaspati's tutelage. So he was extremely wise, and Krishna used to consult with him about everything. So Krishna knew how the gopis or the residents of Vrindavan was feeling due to his separation. So Krishna told Uddhav, you go to Vrindavan and see, the residents of Vrindavan have become very heartbroken. So please console them. So Uddhav went to Vrindavan, and he arrived there in the evening. He met Krishna and Balaram, and then Krishna Balaram took him to Nanda Maharaj. And he found, not Krishna Balaram. What he saw is Krishna Balaram's footprints in Vrindavan when he arrived. And then he went to Nanda Maharaj's place, and he found that everyone is so sad and so much in agony due to Krishna's separation. So Uddhava tried to console them, and Nanda Maharaj told that Krishna was everything to us. During the day, the whole day, we used to just think about Krishna. But those days we had a consolation that in the evening Krishna would come back from the pasture. But now we know that he is not going to come back. He left and went to Mathura. And even at night when we sleep, often we dream about Krishna and we feel such ecstasy seeing him in our dreams. But then we become submerged in an ocean of sorrow when the dream breaks, when we wake up. So our wakeful state actually has become the most painful state of existence. At night when we dream, in dream we find Krishna's association. We get Krishna's association. But when we wake up, then we realize that he is not there anymore. Does Krishna think about us? And in this way, Nanda Maharaj and Mother Jashoda spoke about Krishna. In the morning, the gopis woke up and they started their daily chores. They are churning butter and they were singing about Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes. And then when the sun came out. They came out of their house, and there in front of Nanda Maharaj's house they saw this chariot. And they wondered, some thought, oh, did Krishna come back? And some commented, no, Krishna didn't come back. It's the Akrura who came to perform Kamsa's Shraddha with our flesh. So this is how they were lamenting or being they were so upset with Akrura because Akrura took Krishna away from them. But then they saw Uddhav coming out after doing his morning worship and rituals. From a distance, he looked like Krishna. Some thought that, oh, Krishna did come back. Because Akrura's form was very much like Krishna. He looked just like Krishna also. And he was also wearing the same dress as Krishna. And some others said, no, this is not Krishna. This is Krishna's messenger. But all the gopis surrounded Akrura, wanted to hear about Krishna. Then they took Akrura to a secluded place, and surrounding him they started to ask him how Krishna was doing. And some of them asked, does Krishna remember us at all? He stole our hearts and went away. He is so unkind, he is so cruel. Some others said that we are just village girls, and now that Krishna is associating with these sophisticated city women, why should he even think about us? But Akrura consoled them that no, Krishna always thinks about you. Krishna is very concerned about you. That is why he actually sent me to you, to console you, to remind you that Krishna is in your heart. And whenever you think of him, he will be there with you. Krishna is not away from you. Apparently it may seem that Krishna has left Vrindavan and he went to Mathura, but never ever think that Krishna has left you. Krishna is there with you. In this way, Uddhava was trying to console the gopis. So at that time, one gopi saw one bumblebee, and addressing the bumblebee, she started to speak to the bumblebee that, I know you're a messenger of Krishna. I don't trust you. He's a cheat, and as his messenger, you also have come with all kinds of false consolations and informations. Like, please tell him that if he is satisfied being there in Mathura, associating with the sophisticated city girls, let him be. But at the same time, we can't forget him. Although we want to forget him, but we can't forget him. Our whole consciousness is simply possessed by him. And in this way, she started to address the bee, which this part of Srimad Bhagavatam is known as Brahmar Gita. It's another kind of Gita. And the person who spoke is actually Srimati Radharani, of course. So Radharani was addressing this bumblebee and speaking in this way. So seeing these conditions of the gopis, Uddhava recognized the exalted position of these gopis. So he considered that these residents of Vrindavan are the greatest devotees. And of all these residents of Vrindavan, The gopis are the greatest devotees. And Uddhav, who was considered to be the greatest devotee in Dwaraka or Mathura, he desired to be a blade of grass or a creeper in Vrindavan. He wrote when he was leaving, he expressed his desire. Ashamaho charano renu jushamaham sham Vrindavane kimapi gulmataro shadhina. I wish to become a blade of grass or a creeper in Vrindavan, because in that way I desire to get the dust of the lotus feet of these gopis. And their love for Krishna was so intense that they have rejected everything. They had given up everything. Their attachment to their family members. They have given up their reputation, because for a girl to be in love with someone other than her husband is very disgraceful. But they didn't care about that. They left their husbands, they left their children, they left their elders, they have given up the Arjapathan, the conventional path of morality, for the sake of their love for Krishna. And that is the highest form of love. So this is how Uddhava, recognizing their love, Uddhava decided to become a blade of grass or a creeper in Vrindavan, so that he could get the dust from the lotus feet of these exalted devotees, the gopis. And and then Uddhava went and reported to Krishna about their condition. Somewhere it has been described that in their fireplace, like cooking in the kitchen, there were cobwebs in the stoves or chulas. Because that shows that for days together they did not use that to cook food. There were cobwebs on that. Then Krishna also sent Akrura to Hastinapur. Akrura went to Hastinapur and reported on behalf of Krishna to find out, because Krishna already heard how Duryodhan and his brothers are making all kinds of conspiracy to kill the Pandavas. And so Krishna sent Akrura to find out and at the same time give some advice to Dhritarashtra, the blind king, that he should not allow his sinful sons, he should not patronize the sinful activities of his son. So Akrura went and met with Vidura and Kunti, and Kunti told, in a way Akrura is Kunti's brother also, cousin. So she asked about her other family members in Mathura and wanted to find out how her brother Vasudeva was and how her nephews Krishna and Balaram were doing. And then she started to tell Akrura about what the Kauravas had done to Duryodhana and his associates have done. That when they were just little boys, Duryodhana was so envious and so treacherous that he tried to kill Bhima. Bhima also was very strong, very powerful, and he used to beat them up. And when they're playing, what to speak of wrestling matches and things, like they would beat them. Like beat the hell out of them. And not only that, when they would be sporting in water, Bhima would just drown them and hold them underwater. When they would climb trees, Bhima would shake the trees and make them fall from the trees. And so they naturally became very, very envious of Bhima. And Duryodhana he planned to kill Bhima. And the arrangement was made that they would go out on a picnic in the forest. And 100 brothers, and also invited the 5 Pandavas, the cousins. So they all went to the forest on the bank of the Ganges, and they were eating. First they played, then they swam in the river, then when the appetite was really burning, they partook to eating delicious food stuff. And Duryodhana took Bhima away, telling that he brought some special food for him, special sweets for him. But those special sweets were the sweets mixed with kalkut, the most deadly poison of cobra poison, king cobra's poison. And Bhima was fond of eating, so he just ate and fell asleep. So when Bhima was fast asleep, Duryodhana tied him up by hands and feet and threw him in the river. Bhima's body, floating in the river, went to the Patala Loka, lower planetary systems. And there, Bhima's body fell on the snakes, because in the lower region, the snakes reside. So the snakes started to bite him. Now, this snake bite acted as the antidote to the poison that he was given. So they neutralized his snake poison, and he came back to his senses, and he didn't like it at all that the snakes were biting him. So he started to kill the snakes. He just snapped open his binding, the ropes, and he started to kill the snakes. Some other snakes somehow escaped and reported to the king Vasuki, their king. Vasuki was surprised that a human being has entered here and is killing the snakes like this. He heard that he was just a little boy. So Vasuki, out of curiosity, immediately came there, and he recognized Bhima as the son of Pavandev. And he treated him with great respect and took him to his palace, and he offered him nectar that the snakes have called Sudha. It's nectar. So Bhima drank 8 pots of those nectars. The ordinary people just get one spoonful, but Bhima drank 8 pots of those nectars. And after drinking, he became tired and he slept for 8 days. In the meantime, when everyone was about to return home, then they found that Bhima is missing. So 4 brothers started to look for him everywhere, couldn't find. Then somebody said maybe Bhima actually went back early. So they came home and they found that Bhima didn't come back. So Mother Kunti started to cry and the 4 brothers also started to cry, thinking that maybe Duryodhana, they could understand that Duryodhana is very envious and he may have done may have caused some harm to him. And so this is how they were lamenting. And then after 8 days, the snakes carried Bhima, brought him to the shore of the Ganges, Jamuna, and Bhima went home. Pandavas were all very, very happy, but Duryodhana was shocked. And he realized that now Bhima will tell everybody what actually happened. And Bhima did tell everybody what happened. Everybody means his mother and brothers. But Yudhishthira Maharaj told him, don't disclose it to anybody because Duryodhana is already envious. And we have to be very careful now. And never ever go to them alone. We should always stay together. And so this is how they tried to kill Bhima when he was a little boy. And later on they tried to burn them alive in a house of Shelak. So Kunti told everything to Akrura. Then Akrura went to Dhritarashtra and he told Dhritarashtra that in this world, the way one acts, accordingly he gets the result. And that is what causes a living entity to become entangled in the material nature, in the karmic cycle of birth and death. So when you try to get something on your own, then make sure that you are going to become subjected to the reaction. Therefore, the best way is to submit to the Lord's arrangement. Just act according to the way, just accept what the Lord has arranged for you. If He made you in a certain way, if you put in a certain situation, then accept that situation. Don't try to struggle to act against the Lord's arrangement and your own karmic reactions. Whatever is happening to you is a result of your past karma. And now if you try to do things, try to arrange things in a dubious way, in a surreptitious way, then the reaction is going to be very bad, because someday everyone is going to die. Everyone is going to die, and after death, one is going to be judged. And there is a consideration of suffering in Dwaraka according to one's sinful activities. So this is how Akrura actually advised Dhritarashtra and urged him to act in a proper way, not be envious of his nephews. They are your own subject. They are your dear brother's children. So please, take care of them. treat them with greater affection than your own children, because they deserve it. And if they display some unusual qualities, don't become envious of them. Like people are already appreciating their characters, noble characters. That's why people are becoming fond of him. So, just recognize the fact that they are becoming appreciated by everyone because of their good qualities. So by becoming envious of them, you are not going to get anything. And also recognize that as the father, you have a responsibility to bring up your children properly. When your children act in a wrong way, then chastise them, correct them. If you don't, then you are actually allowing them to become even worse. So this is how Akrura gives some beautiful advice to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra in response told him that, yes, Akrura, whatever you told me, I perfectly understand that. But my affection for my son is so deep that in spite of understanding all these, I can't act against his will. I can't go against what he wants. This is my weakness that I cannot really overcome. So it's another wonderful, in one hand, we can see that Akrura is giving him such wonderful advice, but Dhritarashtra, in spite of understanding that, is not able to accept that and act accordingly, simply due to his overwhelming affection for his son, Duryodhana. So after that, and Dhritarashtra said, like, I know that acting in this way, I am acquiring all kinds of sinful reactions. And I know I and my sons will suffer for that. But still, in spite of understanding all that, I cannot help myself. Anyway, so this is how Akrura went to Hastinapur, met with the Pandavas and Kunti Devi and Vidura, and also how he met with Dhritarashtra, and how Dhritarashtra, in spite of being advised by him, Dhritarashtra couldn't accept his wise advice. Now, there was a king called Raivata. And King Raivata had a beautiful daughter. Mind you, that was in Satyuga of Vaivashyata Manvantara. No, I'm sorry. At the beginning of Vaivashyata Manvantara. Like this is the reign of Vaivashyata Manvantara, and he will reign for 71 Chaturjugas. At the first Satyuga of Vaivashyata Manvantara, Revati was the king, and Raivata was the king of a place called Anartha, and his daughter Revati was extremely beautiful and endowed with all divine qualities. So he was wondering where he will find an appropriate husband for her. Searching all over the universe, he couldn't find anyone suitable to her. So he went to Brahma and asked Brahma who would be the suitable husband. So Brahma told that Balaram will come, and he is actually the suited match for her, suitable match for her. So he asked when he'll come. He'll come during the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th Chatur Yuga of Vaivashata Manvantar. So Raivata said, he'll come at Dwapar Yuga of 27th. We are in the first Manvantar of first Chatur Yuga of Vaivashata Manvantar. How are you going to how you'll live for that long? And Brahma said, don't worry, you and your daughter will live. So you go and you'll be there. There won't be any problem. So he said that, look, the demons are always very, very troublesome. They come and create disturbance, and like time and time again we are being harassed. So how can we last for that long in spite of their onslaughts? So Brahma said, you go underwater, under the ocean, and create a city there. And you reside there peacefully, away from all danger. So King Raivata then created a city underwater called Kushasthali. And then when the time came for 28th Chatur Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, then he approached Balaram, knowing that he has come. So he told the whole thing to Balaram, the whole happening, starting from his search for a suitable husband and Brahma's prediction and so forth. So Balaram agreed. But since Revati was from another Yuga, she was very tall. And so when Balaram saw that, so everybody started to wonder, like, how will this person will get married to someone so huge? So Balaram said, don't worry. So he took his plow, put it on her head and pulled it down. So her size became shorter according to Balaram's size, or according to that Yuga's living human being size. And she turned into, like extremely beautiful girl as she was, of 16 years old. So this is how Balaram got married to Revati, and the city Kushasthali was given as a dowry, and Kushasthali and Dwaraka became one city. So Dwaraka's area was 12 Jojana. 12 Jojana means 12 multiplied by 8. So that means 96. 96 miles radius. Radius. So that Kushasthali also was the same size, 12 Jojanas. And they were residing there. So they joined Kushasthali and Dwaraka became one. So now we go back to another aspect. Krishna's encounter with Jarasandha. When Kamsa died, his two wives Asti and Prapti became widowed. So they, crying, they went to their father, Jarasandha, and reported that how this Krishna has killed Kamsa. So Jarasandha decided to take revenge. And he decided to attack Dwaraka. No, I'm sorry, attack Mathura. Dwaraka hasn't been built as yet. So attack Mathura. And Kamsa gathered 23 Akshohini soldiers. 23 Akshohini, mind you, Kurukshetra battle was fought with 7 Akshohini from Pandava side and 11 Akshohini from Kaurava side. So total, there were 18 Akshohini soldiers. But Jarasandha came with 23 Akshohini soldiers to attack Mathura. And everybody became very worried what to do. Then and they surrounded the city gates. So Krishna decided they had a small army, and with that army Krishna went and confronted with this huge army of Jarasandha. So, and Jarasandha was so confident that he is going to win because he came with such a huge army. But Krishna and Balaram confronted and wiped out Jarasandha's 23 Akshohini soldiers. And then Jarasandha was just left without his chariot, without anyone. Everyone is dead. And Balaram tied him up. And he was about to kill him. But Krishna said, don't kill him. Why? Because actually Jarasandha was Krishna's recruiting agent. Krishna came to Vinashayacha Duskritam. So Jarasandha was bringing all these Duskritams to Krishna, and Krishna was wiping them out. So that's why Krishna told Balaram not to kill him but let him go. So in this way, Jarasandha attacked Mathura 17 times with 23 Akshohini soldiers. And all these 17 times Krishna wiped out all his soldiers and let him go. And so finally Jarasandha decided to make a truce, make a pact with another very powerful demon. His name was Kalajavan. And Kalajavan actually was the son of Gargamuni. There's a history also behind that. Gargamuni was married to one of the princesses of the Jadu family. He was their Kula Guru, he was their family priest, he was the Guru, but he was also married. But being a Brahmana, being absorbed in spiritual thoughts, he was not so interested in family life. So he was neglecting his wife. And his wife went and reported to the brothers that look, this is how he's treating me, doesn't care for me, doesn't even consider that I exist. So then the Jadavas called Gargamuni and insulted him very much. So being insulted in that way, Gargamuni decided to take revenge. And so he took shelter of a Javana king called Juvanasya. And Juvanasya became very attracted to Gargamuni because of his spiritual qualities. But at the same time, he knew that he became inimical to the Jadavas, and so he wanted to have a son, which Gargamuni actually wanted, that a son who would take revenge on his behalf against the Jadus. He got the blessing from Lord Shiva that he would get a son. So Juvanasya sent many beautiful women to Gargamuni, but he was not affected. He was unperturbed. And then finally Juvanasya told his own wife, her name was Menaka, that you go and seduce him. Don't tell him that you are my wife. So this is how Menaka went to Gargamuni, and she bore a child. And that child was called Kala Javana. He was a Javana. Javana means those who do not believe, or those who are opposed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, those who don't believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Kala Javana was an extremely powerful warrior. So he had 30 million soldiers. So Jarasandha thought that he would actually he was advised by Shalva, another demon king, that why not make a truce, a pact with Kala Javana and attack together. So Kala Javana was approached. Shalva himself went with a proposal that Jarasandha is offering him the position of his general of his army to fight against these two brothers, Krishna and Balaram. But when Kala Javana was told that Krishna and Balaram were two mere boys, Kala Javana was not interested. He said, I'm not going to fight against two boys. I'm going to fight against somebody who is equal to me in strength. So Shalva tried to explain to him that actually Kamsa is, Jarasandha is trying his best, but he didn't succeed. And these two boys are not mere children. These two boys are actually extremely powerful individuals. And he started to tell all that these two boys have done. And Kaljavan's response was, that is Kansa's problem, that's not my problem. And that person, if he is useless, that doesn't mean that I have to side with him. So in this way, Kaljavan at first actually refused to side with Jarasandha. But the demigods, as I told earlier, they are always concerned about how Krishna will fulfill the mission of killing all these demons. So the demigods approached Narad Muni, said, look, Kaljavan refused to fight against Krishna, but he needs to be dealt with. So then Narad Muni went to Kaljavan. And Kaljavan received him very gracefully, and he asked Narad Muni that, can you please tell me, like, who is equal to me in fight? Because I can't, my hands are itching to fight, but I can't find anybody who would be equal to my strength. Then Narad Muni said, the only person who can match you is this Krishna and Balaram. So Kaljavan said, yes, I heard about them. Recently Jarasandha sent his men saying that we have to fight. But he was asking a joint venture, and I'm not interested in that kind of political maneuvering. So that's why I refused. And after all, these two boys, why should I fight with two mere boys? So then Narad Muni started to describe about Krishna's power, Krishna's activities, Krishna's strength. Then Kalijavan became excited. Then he said, okay, then I'll come. I'll fight with him. So Kalijavan then attacked Mathura. And Jarasandha also thought that now that Kalijavan is attacking on his own, let me also take advantage of this and let me attack Mathura from the other side. So when Krishna got to know about that, then Krishna went and sat down with Balaram and started to ask him, so tell me what to do. Now these two enemies are coming from two sides, so how should we face them? And the residents of Dwaraka, residents of Mathura will be very much distressed. So what can we do? So Balaram actually suggested to make a safe place, take the residents of Mathura to a safe place. So Krishna thought that's not a bad idea. So he immediately called the ocean personified and said, look, in the middle of the ocean, you have to give me some space. So ocean said, sure. And in no time, he created this island in the middle of the ocean. And then Krishna called Vishwakarma and said, build a city with all its grandeur. So Vishwakarma came and overnight built a city. And when they were fast asleep, Krishna called Yogamaya and said, transport them all to that new place. So when they all were fast asleep, they were transported to Dwaraka. So when Kalajavana came to attack, it was just Krishna and Balaram and a handful of soldiers. Mathura was completely empty. They all were transported to Dwaraka. So Kalajavana challenged Krishna. From Narad Muni's description, he could recognize who is Krishna and who is Balaram. Narad Muni told that this Krishna, his complexion is like a brilliant sapphire, Ujjala Nilamani. Nilamani means sapphire. And Balaram's complexion is milk white. Krishna wears yellow silk dress. Balaram wears blue. And in this way, and both of them are extremely handsome. So then Krishna and Balaram came out of the city gate. Krishna didn't take any weapon with him. Just came out and started to walk towards Kalajavana. Kalajavana was waiting. He was thinking that maybe he came to surrender. He's afraid seeing his huge contingency. So Kalajavana was just waiting. But Krishna came, but instead of stopping in front of him, Krishna kept walking past him. So Kalajavana then thought, oh, so you're running away from me. So because Krishna was unarmed, he also dropped his weapons. And he started to run after him. But although Krishna was just walking, and he was running to full speed, and it was almost he was catching Krishna, but he was not able to catch him. And he just kept on running and running and running, and Krishna was just beyond just a few inches ahead of him. And in this way, Krishna came to a cave, mountain cave. And he entered into that mountain cave. So Kalajavana thought Krishna is afraid and he is hiding. So he also ran and entered into the cave. Inside the cave it was dark, so he could see. But in this semi-darkness he saw that someone is lying down. So he thought that this must be Krishna. So he just kicked him. And the person woke up from his sleep. And just as he looked at him, Kalajavana was burnt to ashes. So who was that person? This person was Muchukunda. He also came in the Ikshaku dynasty, Sun dynasty. Like Manu Ikshaku ve Abrubit, Krishna mentioned. Imang vivashyate jogam praktavan aham abbayam vivashvan manave praho manur Ikshaku ve Abrubit. So in this Ikshaku dynasty, Mandhata was one very illustrious king, and his son was Muchukunda. So Muchukunda was so powerful that when the demons were harassed, when the demigods were harassed by the demons, they requested Muchukunda to fight on their behalf. So Muchukunda went to the heavenly planet and fought against the demons on behalf of the demigods. And he fought for a long, long time. And then Lord Shiva's son was born, Kartikeya, who became their general. And so the demigods went and thanked him for his wonderful service for such a long time and said, now you can retire. We got our general. Kartikeya came as our general. So now you can retire. So before Muchukunda left, the demigods told him that you can ask, you served us so nicely, so you can ask for some boon from us. So Muchukunda said, I am so tired after fighting for so long that all I want now is to sleep. And so all I want is to sleep now. So the demigod said, okay, you can sleep, I can have an uninterrupted sleep at such and such place. And if anyone wakes you up, and as you look at him, anyone who wakes you up untimely from your sleep, as you look at him, he'll be burnt to ashes. So Krishna knew that, and that's why he brought Kalajavana into the cave to be burnt by Muchukunda's glance. Another thing is, this Kalajavana was not to be killed by the Jadus. That is one benediction or one condition that Garga Muni took from the Jadus, that because he knew that this son will be demoniac, and so the Jadus agreed not to kill him. So Krishna was bound with his oath of promise of not killing him. So this is how Kalajavana was killed. Then Krishna came and wiped out all his 3 million soldiers. But then Jarasandha came with his 23 Akshohini soldiers. And so Krishna told Balaram that this time the soldiers that Jarasandha brought, they are not meant to be killed now. Their time has not come. So we won't fight with Jarasandha this time. This set of his soldiers we will take care afterwards, not now. So what is the plan? We also run away from the battlefield. So when Jarasandha came to attack Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, Jarasandha saw that Krishna and Balaram are running. They are running as Ranchorji. Because he left the battlefield, he is known as Ranchor. Ran means battle, Chor means ran away, left, one who left the battlefield. So Krishna came to a mountain, Probharshan mountain, very high mountain, and Jarasandha with his men was looking for him but couldn't find him. So Jarasandha said, okay, so we will set the mountain in fire. So they collected all kinds of inflammable objects, logs and coal and all, and they set the mountain in fire. And Jarasandha thought that now Krishna and Balaram will die, being burnt in that fire. They don't have any way to escape. But Krishna and Balaram jumped from that mountain, went to the ocean and swam to Dwaraka. So that is how Krishna and Balaram arrived in Dwaraka, and Mathura was left and the city was transported or transplanted in, the capital was transplanted in Dwaraka, where there was a natural protection from the ocean, so that Jarasandha could not kill him. Jarasandha could not attack them anymore. But Jarasandha was very proud that all these 17 times I didn't win, but on the 18th time I succeeded. So one should never give up. One should keep on endeavoring. Shalva and Shishupal and all others were there. So Shishupal started to boast. Because I was there, that's why Krishna and Balaram ran away. So he took the credit for himself. And he took the credit saying that it is because of me that he ran away. And so this is how Krishna and Balaram left, and Shishupal took the credit for winning, as if Krishna and Balaram ran away out of their fear. And Jarasandha took the credit also, that finally my patience and perseverance paid. So it's about 12:30. Should we take questions or should we continue? Let's see, is there any question? If no question, then I'll continue. Okay. There was a place called kingdom called Chedi. And the king of that kingdom was a very noble personality. His name was Bhishmaka. And Bhishmak had 5 sons and 1 daughter. And his daughter was extremely beautiful. So when Narad Muni came to him, he asked Narad Muni that my daughter is of marriageable age. So can you please tell me who is a suitable match for her? So Narad Muni told that this Krishna of Jadu dynasty is the suitable match. And he started to describe the qualities of Krishna. And just by hearing the qualities of Krishna, Bhishmak decided, yes, I want my daughter to be married to Krishna. And his daughter, Rukmini, just by hearing about Krishna's valor, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's opulent and Krishna's noble nature, she immediately fell in love with Krishna. And she felt that if at all I have to get married, then this is the person that I'm going to marry to. So Bhishmak made arrangements for Rukmini to get married to Krishna. But his eldest son, Rukmi, was demoniac by nature. And he was against Krishna. And he went to his father and said, what? You want Rukmini to get married to Krishna? Some say, he is not even a Kshatriya. Some say that he is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. He is from the Jadu dynasty. Maybe he is born in a Kshatriya family, but look at his upbringing. He was brought up in the cowherd community, tending cows from morning till night. And I heard so many things that he had been having affairs with all the girls there. So how do you even think of your daughter getting married to such a character? So we should actually get him married to Shishupal. And look at Shishupal. He started to speak about Shishupal's whole genealogical table. And and Bhishmak didn't want to go against his son because he was afraid that his son also, he was so demoniac that his son also could act like Kamsa, who actually imprisoned his father. So he was worried that if he went against Rukmi, then Rukmi also may act like that and put him in prison and so forth. So he accepted it, although at heart he wanted Rukmini to get married to Krishna. And Rukmi did not want to take any chance. He said, in 2 days' time, she is getting married. So the message was sent to Shishupal, and his father, Damaghosh, I'm sorry, I mentioned that Chedi. Now, Chedi is actually the kingdom of Shishupal. Bhishmak's kingdom was Vidarbha. And the capital was Kundin Nagari. So he sent message to his father and Shishupal that please come and take my sister as your wife, get married to her. We decided to marry her to you. And when Rukmini got to know that, she was completely devastated. And she decided that I'm not going to marry anyone but Krishna. So she wrote a letter and sent a brahmana to Krishna in Dwaraka, So the Brahmana came to Dwaraka. He was struck with wonder seeing the opulence of that place, and went to Krishna, and he conveyed the message of Rukmini. Rukmini mentioned that although I haven't met you, but just by hearing about your qualities, I have fallen in love with you. And I decided to accept you as my husband. So please come and claim me. You may wonder how to claim me when I'll be inside the house and surrounded by my relatives and others, how you're going to claim me. But on the day of the wedding, 2 days from today, in the morning, I'll go to the temple of Durga Devi, Girija temple. And after worshipping her, when I would be returning home, at that time you can come and take me away. Just as a lion takes its prey from the middle of a bunch of jackals. So, so in this way, and then finally she wrote that if you do not come for some reason, thinking that I am not qualified to be your wife, then I'll give up this life and wait for some other life to get you as my husband. So upon receiving that letter, Krishna immediately called his chariot driver, Dwaraka, and said, get the chariot ready. And immediately Krishna started. So he arrived in Kundin Nagar, and there the arrangements are being made for the wedding. In the meantime, Shishupal's other friends, like Jarasandha, Shala, and all others, also came with their full contingents, like entire army. They came because they were worried that they got to know that Bhishma was originally planning to get Rukmini married to Krishna. So Krishna may come, and so they didn't want to take any chance. So they came well prepared just in case there is any mishap. So Krishna came, Bhishma greeted him and treated him as an honored guest. And in the morning, the same thing was happening. In the meantime, Rukmini was waiting and he was thinking that what happened to that Brahmana. Then finally, the Brahmana came, and seeing his effulgent face, she could make out that he is coming with some good news. So, the Brahmana gave the news that Krishna came, and he also came with Krishna. He's just been received by King Bhishmaka, and so he is here. And Rukmini felt that this Brahman had done so much for me. How can I ever reward him? What can be a suitable gift to give besides my humble obeisances? So Rukmini just offered humble obeisances, and the Brahmana was a little disappointed. He thought that, oh, I did this wonderful job for the princess, so she must be rewarding me with such grand way. But now she didn't offer anything, she just offered obeisances. So quite disappointed, the Brahmana went back to his house. But when he went to the house, he found that his house is not there anymore. Instead of that house, there's a big palace. And he thought that maybe in my absence, somebody came and destroyed my house and in my property built this palace. But then he saw his wife, Brahmani, is coming out and ushered him into the house, saying that, by the Lord's arrangement, this house just appeared overnight. So this is how the Brahmana got rewarded. Anyway, Krishna came and he was just standing there where all the others were kind of just watching the ceremony. All the kings with their soldiers, they were stationed there. And then Rukmini came out of the temple after worshipping Girija Devi. And when she was walking, seeing her beauty, all those antagonistic kings fainted. And then Krishna came and picked up Rukmini in his chariot. As Krishna started to drive his chariot, they all came back to their senses. And they started to shout that he's stealing her, go and attack, come and attack. And so they had tried to attack Krishna from all sides. But then Balaram also was, when Balaram got to know that Krishna left Dwaraka alone, and he knew that there may be some confrontation, so he also came with his army. And Balaram's army faced those enemy kings and wiped them out in no time, where not a single soldier from his side left his body. There was no loss from his side, whereas the enemy side was completely wiped out. So Shishupal was completely heartbroken. The poor guy came to get married and now his wife got stolen. So he was sitting there with a morose face. So Jarasandha came and told him, Shishupal, don't worry. Ultimately, everything happens by the arrangements of providence. So, it was not meant to be, so it didn't happen. But don't give up your hope. You see, 17 times I had been defeated. But then on the 18th time, I won. So, for the 17 times, providence was against me, but then providence favored me on the 18th time. So your time also will come. So this is how Jarasandha consoled Shishupal, and Shishupal with a broken heart and a sour face went back to his kingdom. Now when Rukmi heard what happened, Rukmi just became furious. He said that I am not going to come back to this city unless I kill that Krishna and bring my sister back. So he got his army ready and went and surrounded Krishna. So again, who can face Krishna? So terrible battle actually took place. Rukmi started to shoot arrows at Krishna, and Krishna cut those arrows, and then Rukmi was challenging him, so he hurled his club towards Krishna. And Krishna hurled his club. With his club he smashed it. And then he hurled his club and broke Rukmi's chariot. Then Rukmi jumped out of the chariot and attacked Krishna with a sword. So Krishna cut his swords and then grabbed him by his head, by his hair, and pulled him onto his chariot. and tied him up on the pole of the chariot. And he was saying that, I'm going to kill you. So Rukmini, seeing that her brother in that condition, fell at Krishna's feet and said, please, please, don't kill my brother. So Krishna said, okay, I won't kill him. But Krishna shaved his head, which is as good as killing a person, killing a warrior, killing a kshatriya. So it was, the kshatriyas were by nature so proud and so arrogant that this kind of disgrace is, to them, is like as good as death. So then Balaram came there, and Balaram chastised Krishna. Krishna, he's your brother-in-law. He's your relative. You can't afford to treat him like that. And if you do that, your wife will be so heartbroken that she'll never be able to forgive you. And in this way, Balaram advised and said, let him go. So on Balaram's advice, Krishna allowed him to go, let him go. Rukmi did not go back to Kundingram again because of his promise that he wouldn't come back to the city. But he created a city there called Bhojakut, and he started to stay there. So in this way, Krishna got married to Rukmini. Rukmini was brought to Dwaraka, and with great pomp, Krishna's first queen came to Dwaraka and got married to Krishna. Okay, we can tell another anecdote maybe. That is, the next person that Krishna got married to, the next queen was Jambavati. There was a king called Satrajit. He was a worshipper. He was a great devotee of Surya Dev. So being pleased with him, Surya Dev gave him a jewel called Samantaka, Shyamantaka. And this Samantaka jewel was so bright that its effulgence went to a great extent. And this Samantaka jewel, so wearing the Samantaka jewel, one day, Satrajit came to Dwaraka. So when he came, everyone thought, seeing that effulgence, they thought Surya Dev has come. So some Jadus reported to Krishna that Surya Dev has come. So Krishna says Surya Dev is supposed to stay in his orbit and move around. So how can he come here? Say, no. He must have come to see you, knowing that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then Krishna said, no, it's not Surya Dev, it is Satrajit, who actually came wearing the Samantaka jewel. So then he came to the assembly and they had a talk, and then when he left, some of the Jadus expressed the desire that the Samantaka jewel should come to King Ugrasen. And Krishna said, no, Satrajit is so attached to this that he is not going to give it away. So there is no need to ask. And he advised also that when you ask something from somebody and if he doesn't give, then he incurs sinful reactions. And those who asks also out of greed, he also gets sinful reactions. So they reasoned, no, we are not asking out of greed, we are asking on behalf of the king. So, because the king should get best of the things. So there is no such jewel like this. So Ugrasen, the king, should have it. So another time when Satyajit came, Krishna indicated that he may consider giving this jewel to the king. But Satyajit did not notice it, as if he did not hear it. He totally ignored it. So then one day Satyajit's brother Prosen went hunting wearing that Samantaka jewel. And while he was in the forest hunting, one lion killed him and took away the jewel. Then Jambavan, the king of the bears, killed the lion and took that gem and gave it to his son. So Prosen went to the forest hunting and didn't come back. So Satyajit thought that maybe Krishna killed him in order to get the jewel. So he started to blaspheme Krishna, saying that he killed his brother. So when Krishna heard that, then he decided to free himself from this blasphemy, from this ill reputation. So Krishna went to the forest, and after a long search, he found the dead body of Prosen. Couldn't make out how he was killed. And then after a little while, they found the body of a dead lion. So then they could understand that this lion must have killed Prosen. And then he found some footsteps that led to a tunnel. So he came to the face of the tunnel, and seeing that the footsteps actually entered into a tunnel, Krishna decided to go into the tunnel. And he told his other associates to wait on the mouth of the tunnel until he came back. And so at the end, that tunnel led to the lower planetary system. And there he found Jambavan, son, playing with the thing, jewel. So seeing Krishna, Jambavan's son started to cry, and his maidservant also came running and started to cry, started to shout, "Look, who has intruded into our territory?" Then Jambavan came running and asked, "Who are you?" So Krishna gave his identity. "I am from the Jadu dynasty, and somebody is claiming that I stole this jewel, Samantaka jewel, and in order to absolve myself from this ill reputation, I decided to rescue this jewel and give it back to the person. His name is Satyajit. And searching for that, I came here, and now I can see that your son has it, so please give it to me." Then Jambavan replied, "No, go away from here, you are an intruder, there's no way I'm going to give it to you." So then both of them started to fight. And no one could defeat the other. And this fight went on for 27 days. Now, waiting for 12 days, when Krishna didn't come back, those associates of Krishna who were guarding the gate, guarding the mouth of the tunnel, they went back and reported that Krishna has been killed. He went inside and didn't come back for 12 days, so obviously. So the battle went on for 27 days. Jambavan couldn't defeat Krishna. Krishna also did not defeat Jambavan. The fight went on for 27 days. So on 27th day, Jambavan, he used to take a break and worship Lord Ramchandra, his worshipable Lord. So he went to the river Bhogavati, that is Ganga in the Patala Loka, and there was no flower, so he picked up some moss, and he offered the moss to Lord Ramchandra as his offering. And then when he came back to fight back again, he found that the moss that he offered to Lord Ramchandra is at the feet of this stranger who he was fighting with. And that's how he realized that this must be his Lord himself. And he was already wondering, like, who is so powerful that he could continue to fight with him for so many days and not be affected. So then he asked, please tell me, who are you? I suspect that you are my Lord and Master, Lord Ramchandra. Krishna said, yes, I am very happy with you that you gave me such a good fight. So Jambavan was extremely embarrassed. He said, my Lord, I committed such an offense to you. I don't know how can I free myself from that offense. The only thing I can think of offering to you is my daughter, Jambavati. And as the dowry, I'll give you that gem, Samantaka jewel. So then Krishna went back to Dwaraka with Jambavati and Samantaka jewel. He called Shatrajit and told him and that, I heard what you have been telling everybody. Now here's the Samantaka jewel. And this is what happened. So he narrated the whole incident. That your brother Prasen got actually killed by a lion. I didn't kill him. Then that lion got killed by Jambavan and he took that jewel. So I got it back for you. So he wanted to offer it back to Satyavati, to his three principal queens, Rukmini, Satyabhama and Jambavati. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, see you all again at 4 o'clock. Oh, it seems that there are some questions, yeah. Generally, there is a lot of questions, but it seems that you are not interested in asking questions. Or you find these narrations are fascinating. What happened? Some questions from the internet. There are some questions there also. Ramananda Rai from Septon Derby, Belgium. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Question. It is said that when Muchukunda came out of the cave, he saw that the people have become very small. Does it mean that the Kali Yuga already started when Krishna was still on the planet? No, because Kali Yuga didn't start. Kali Yuga starts actually when Krishna leaves this planet. So it was still Dwapar Yuga. But compared to Muchukunda's time, Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga features were quite short. So that's how he saw it. Question 2, in relation to karma, when we preach to conditioned souls, we still are under the spell of karma. How do we balance that? Or should we first become pure devotees and then only preach? No. Prabhupada made it very clear that you preach to the extent you have learned. If you simply learn that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just go out and tell everybody that Krishna is God. There is no need to think that. And I don't know what makes you to conclude in relation to karma, when we preach to conditioned souls, we are still under the spell of karma. Not necessarily. When you are spreading Krishna consciousness, that act doesn't generate any karma. That is a pure spiritual activity. Thank you, Ramananda. So next question from Arti. Who is Arti? Okay. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, PAMO AGTS, PAGTM, DGM. Yeah. Will the earth be demolished after the Kali Yuga, or will the cycle of Yuga reappear on earth? If yes, will Krishna reappear on this planet? Will all the incarnations of Krishna be repeated? Your servant, Arti. You see, when a yuga ends, there is some sort of annihilation. Like some annihilations are partial annihilations. Generally, it's a partial annihilation. But total annihilation takes place when Brahma dies. Then it's total annihilation. But after the yugas, there is partial annihilation. And then after partial annihilation, Satya Yuga will start again. After Kali Yuga will end, and Kalki Avatar will kill all the miscreants, and those who are devotees, they'll be, with them, Satya Yuga will begin. Does it answer your question? Okay. So, so next question is from Kirti Kumari. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances unto the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to the Savior of the works, Savior of the worlds, Srila Prabhupada. I was just wondering, Krishna in his localized feature, Paramatma, is present within the heart and witnesses all the actions, desires, etc. of all the living entities. How does Chitragupta get all this information if he is not present within our heart to witness our every action? Good question. And the answer is yes. Chitragupta actually is functioning from within. And without as well. He is watching the activities, and this is how he is recording. I mean, how they do that is not possible for us to make out. Can a layman, just a village guy, make out how the US government is keeping all the informations in the computer? Similarly, how they function is not really within our understanding. Well, I thought there won't be any question. The questions have started to come in. This is from Deepesh Baghel from Bangalore. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Question from yesterday's class. Isn't living amongst our material kinsmen and being unattached to them much more difficult than living away from them, say, in Brahmachari ashram? Yeah, that's true. The point is that the question is that yesterday I mentioned that the family, the householders, the family members should live together in pure Krishna conscious environment, recognizing that they belong to Krishna and whatever they possess also belong to Krishna. So he is, in relation to that, he is asking that isn't living amongst your kinsmen and being unattached is much more difficult than living away from them in brahmachari ashram. Yeah, because in a way, out of sight, out of mind. When you're in brahmachari ashram, you don't see them and you don't think about them so much. But when you are with them, then naturally you feel entangled and you also become aware of your responsibilities towards them. Anyway, in whichever condition you are in, be Krishna conscious. Now the question is from Ramananda Rai again, from Belgium. Jambavati was the daughter of a bear. Should we understand that she changed her form to a human princess when she married Krishna? Now Jambavati was actually a human child that Jambavan brought up. She was, it has been described in Brihad Bhagavatam. Brihad Bhagavatamrita, no, I'm sorry, in Lalita Madhav by Rupa Goswami, that Jambavati is actually Lalita Devi. Lalita Devi appeared as Jambavati, Radharani appeared as Satyabhama, and Chandravali appeared as Rukmini. Question. Okay, it's from Bhabisha Devi Dasi from Prithur. Okay, this question from Bhabisha. If Jamraj is a Mahajan, why does he not preach to the residents of the hellish planets? Jamraj doesn't preach to the residents of the hellish planet because of the 9th offense. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.